Hey, what's up, YouTube? So I want to talk about what is happening with GameStop. Before I do, let me tell you about this app called Ibotta. Ibotta gives you cash back on all your online purchases. So if you buy something online, you get cash back for it. It's a free app. So it's a free app, free money. That's really all I'm going to say about it. If you want it, get in the link in the description below. Free money. But anyway, when it comes to GameStop, this is one of the craziest things I've ever seen. And it's one of like the coolest things and the funniest things I've seen ever. Like I've never been laughing as hard as I am at this GameStop stock. And like for those of you who don't know what's happening, GameStop is going up like an insane amount. Like everyone's buying it really rapidly. And the reason for this is because there was a company called Citron who basically borrowed shares from which of the shareholders they thought it would fall. Like let's say theoretically a stock is at $500 and you think it'll go down to 300. What you could do is borrow the share from someone, sell it immediately. The stock would, of course, fall to 300. You'd buy the stock back, you'd give the share back to the guy you borrowed it from at $300 and you'd keep $200 in profit. So basically Citron borrowed a bunch of shares, sold them immediately, waited for them to drop so they could like buy them back and make some quick money. But the thing is, it didn't. The stock went up instead because Reddit, mostly the WallStreetBets subreddit, and honestly, like I'm in a bunch of stock market subreddits, and they all really bought in on this, has been buying up the stock rapidly and sending the price to the moon because what's going to happen is Citron, the company, owes the investors they borrowed shares from their shares back. Like if you borrow something, you have to give it back. So, let's go back to my like analogy before. If the stock's at $500, you borrow it, sell immediately, thinking it's going to go down, but instead it goes up to $700. You have to buy the share back at $700 because you owe that person a share. So instead of making $200, you spend $200. And this is what's happening here, but on like huge scale. WallStreetBets and like Reddit is just like blowing this stock up. And when Citron has to pay their people back for the shares they have, they're gonna have to buy the shares at a huge markup, and it's supposedly gonna cost this company almost $2 billion. I think the last figure I saw was 1.6 billion, and it's kind of hilarious. Like I don't know, I've been enjoying it, except for the fact that this is kind of awful. But a few years ago, or this I don't know if it's it was a while ago. I had GameStop shares at $4 and they went up to $10 and I sold them because, GameStop's a failing company. And I'm like, I made a pretty good return on my investments. I sold my shares, I took my money and I went and like invested in some other stocks. Thing is, if I would have kept those shares, I would have so much money right now. Like I was looking earlier, because I've been looking at the stock, and it was at $150 a share at one point. Like keep in mind, I bought them at 4. That is just so much money that I've missed out on because like how was I supposed to predict this would happen? Like no one could. Like GameStop's a failing company and they are worth more than they've ever been. Like they have I think a $6 billion market cap right now. And that's after it fell a bunch. The stock's been crazy. Basically, what happens is the stock keeps shooting up, but it's shooting up too fast. So they halt the trading, causing the stock to like plummet. And then, like, as soon as it's unhalted, this trading goes right back. And it's really like, I don't know, it's one of the funniest things I've ever seen that's happening. Like I've heard now they're trying to do it with other stocks too. Like basically Wall Street Bets and other stock market subreddits are just trying to find companies that are failing or they believe to be failing and blow them up. I believe they're doing it like I think AMC, they're doing it with BlackBerry where they're just finding like these failing companies and they're blowing the stock up. And it's hilarious, but also it's like I don't know, it makes me wonder like how things are going to go. Like now you can make so much money just off of a meme. Like you can literally create like a meme about a company invested and make so much money off of that. And I think that's the craziest thing. Like before, when I look at a stock I'm going to buy, I look at like the revenue, I look at the profits they're doing, I compare it against how they're doing years. And if they're increasing in revenue, increasing in profit every year, I assume it's a good stock and I put money into it. Basically, I do a lot of research before I put my money into a company. But now it's like if it stocks a meme, might as well invest. Like when it comes to GameStop, like the other day, like I did put more money into GameStop because it's gonna go up. Like Wall Street Bets is gonna keep blowing it up. And even though I think it's crazy this is happening, I do recognize the stock's going up. So I put more money into it. Just a little bit. Like I'll make a few bucks. But it's just I really wish I hadn't sold my shares back in the day. Like if I had a time machine, I'd go back and be like, Caleb, keep your GameStop shares. Just wait a few years. Something crazy is gonna happen. And also tell me to sell at 150 because now it's falling back to like I believe last time I checked it was like $79 a share. But that's why it's happening. And it's gonna be interesting what happens now. Like the stock's been crazy right now because mostly young people getting into it. So once they get like huge profits, like once it goes up something like 150, a lot of them are gonna sell. Like when you get someone like that young into the stock, they're gonna sell pretty early. Like most young people aren't disciplined enough to like hold and like wait for profits. So I'm really gonna see like how this goes. I do think Citron is, gonna like be in some trouble really. Like they have a lot like huge debt they gotta pay back if they can keep it up. And like, as they keep having like buy the shares back, stock's just gonna go higher. Like I honestly have no idea what's gonna happen here. Like the sky is really the limit with this. And it's gonna be really interesting to see how this stock does. That's really all for this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and like the video. You press that like button. And once again, check out Ibotta. They're literally giving you cash back on all your online purchases. If you buy something online, why not get some of that money back? It's a free app. Go check it out. That's all for this video.